Since we first became aware of ourselves, we have lived with an intuition that seems undeniable, that within the organism we are, there dwells a someone, a kind of central entity, a driver who directs the organism from somewhere behind our eyes. This perception leads us to speak of my body, my thoughts, or my decisions, as if that I were the owner and the organism its property. However, when we analyze reality through cognitive science, neuroscience, and biology, that entity disappears. The self is not a real entity. It is a simplification, a mental label the brain uses to make sense of an unimaginable number of processes. We tend to assign authorship or agency to what we cannot fully understand. In the same way that ancient cultures created gods to explain lightning or wind, we have created the self to explain human behavior. But the reality is that we are not a spirit inside a physical system. We are not a mind in a body. We are the organism and the set of natural processes occurring within it. The fundamental problem is the belief in agency, understood as the supposed capacity of an entity to be the original author of its actions. We believe we are like passengers in a vehicle who, at key moments, take the wheel and decide the direction. This belief is a perceptual error caused by the extreme complexity of our nervous system. As Stephen Wolfram explains, systems based on the interaction of billions of simple elements following basic rules can produce behavior of astonishing complexity. When we observe these results, our brain, which always seeks the shortest path to understanding the environment, assumes that there must be something else running the show. We find it hard to accept that 86 billion neurons and trillions of chemical connections can function without a plant manager. The self is simply the name we give to that non-existent boss. From a purely biological and physical perspective, we understand that the organism is an inseparable part of the matter that makes up the universe. There is no real boundary where the laws of physics stop applying and give way to the supposed laws of identity. We naturally accept that processes such as digestion, heartbeat, or insulin production happen on their own. We do not say, I am beating my heart. Yet when we say, I am thinking, we make the mistake of believing there is an entity, that is creating the thought. The reality is that thought is a biological process as natural as blood circulation. It is a process shaped by prior conditions of the universe, by brain chemistry, and by environmental stimuli. Each of our actions is the result of what happened a second earlier at the neuronal level, hours earlier at the hormonal level, and years earlier at the evolutionary and genetic level. Every event is shaped by natural laws, and there is no gap in this causal chain where an independent self could alter the course of events. We must stop seeing ourselves as static entities, and start seeing ourselves as processes in motion. We are not a noun, we are a verb, we are something that is happening. There is no command center in the brain, no region that is the seat of the soul, or the place where everything is decided. The brain is a decentralized system of systems, where confusion between perception and creation is constant. We feel that we create our thoughts because we perceive them in consciousness, but if we pay attention, we will see that thoughts simply appear. You cannot decide what you are going to think in a few seconds, because to decide it, you would already have had to think it. Thought occurs, and, an instant later, through the illusion of the self, we claim authorship by saying, I thought this. Believing that this self has control of a free will is as absurd as believing that free digestion exists. Both our digestion and our desires and actions are biological processes that occur in our various organs and systems. There is no owner of the organism executing all of this. If you like pineapple more than apple, that is a preference shaped by your biology and your history. If you decide to eat an apple just to try to prove that your will is free, that new preference, the desire to prove autonomy, also arose naturally in your brain due to the information you are processing at this moment. You did not choose to want to prove anything, the desire simply occurred. Imagine the millions of cellular processes that are sustaining your life right now. Mitochondria producing energy, cells being born and dying. You do none of that, yet you are all of that. There is no one at the wheel because the organism is both the journey and the vehicle at the same time. It is natural for this understanding to generate resistance. We have been shaped to believe that we are special and different from the rest of nature. There is a fear that if there is no self, life will become mechanical or empty. But the opposite is true. Dismantling the illusion of the self fully integrates us with the rest of natural phenomena and with the entire universe. We are not something separate from nature trying to fight against it. We are nature itself in operation. Understanding this does not diminish the human being. It frees us from the heavy burden of a fictitious identity. When we understand that we are natural processes shaped by physical laws, the conflict of trying to control the uncontrollable disappears. This reality-aligned view is the main driver of increased well-being, allowing us to live with greater clarity and a deep connection to what we truly are, just another natural phenomenon in the vastness of the universe.